We are live. We want the gold, sucker. We want the gold, sucker.
What's going on? It's your boy, Sage the Mark, Israel Wrestling Podcast, coming to you guys live on a Saturday. I know, I'm supposed to have this thing out Friday, Saturday, whatever. I'm trying, guys, I'm trying. I will say this. I took last week off because I was trying to figure out and also look at other podcasters, wrestling podcasters. I'm going to adjust the camera real quick here, but I wanted to kind of see how they were doing in terms of their scheduling and seeing if they were having the same kind of issue that I was having when I was podcasting. So it's a real struggle because of the way that the shows are kind of stretched out. It's difficult to kind of pin down that one day to podcast. So, and it's definitely not ideal to do a podcast on a Saturday when there's a go home show on a Saturday. So that is even more kind of messed up. But you know, we'll figure. We adapt. Just like other podcasters. We adapt. That's what we do. Don't forget to check us out at Twitter, twitter.com/ or using the @ symbol @RealWrestleCast. Man, I feel like I haven't been doing this in like ages, man. Instagram, got the Instagram it's Real Wrestling Podcast, all spelled out on Instagram. Don't forget to hit us up, support your boys at patreon.com, patreon.com/IRWP. We are on YouTube. We're on Mixer. Just search for us. It's Real Wrestling Podcast. You'll find us right away. Don't forget, we got a contest going on right now through the end of the year. Once we hit 500 subscribers, we are going to give away a $50 gift card to Amazon.com. The only way that you could be eligible is if you subscribe to our YouTube channel. It's Real Wrestling Podcast. Y'all go check it out. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, so that way you get your chance for that $50 gift card to Amazon.com. And without further ado, I don't even know where to start, guys. I'm going to be honest with you. I don't even know where to start in professional wrestling. Part of me wants to start inside the ring, but there's just as much great stuff. And I say great in the terms of the amount of stuff on the outside of the ring that can be addressed as well. So what I'm going to do is I am going to go ahead and start outside the ring because that's what your boy at IRWP does. Miles Jordan. We had to start here. So for those who don't know, Miles Jordan is one of the roster members on the NXT card. I believe he won the breakout tournament that they had a few weeks out for NXT. And excellent wrestler and performer in my opinion. But out of nowhere, he kind of like a Randy Orton RKO. He was posting some cryptic tweets. I mean, they weren't subtle by any means of the imagination, but he was just going out there, you know, land blasting WWE for coming out with a shirt that looked racially insensitive. And for those, you know, who are living under a rock, which I hope it's nobody listen to this podcast. There's a such thing, a controversy is called blackface. I'm not going to go through the history of it, but essentially, it's a blackface, big red lips, and white teeth. And Miles Jordan kind of took exception to WWE coming up with a shirt that kind of mimicked, you know, having a black shirt with some red. It looked like lips. They weren't defined, but they looked like lips, and his name, Miles Jordan, in all white. Now, to be fair, the shirt never ended up hitting the market, at least not in that particular iteration. I think that there were some superstars that were on Instagram showing some pictures of it, maybe on a gray background or something like that. But from what I've read and researched, I don't believe that shirt hit the light of day. So first and foremost, we're in 2019. There should be levels of checks before these designs actually hit the talent to take a look at. Quality checks is what we used to call them in my world. Do quality checks. Ask yourself, the very first question you should be asking yourself right off the bat is this design offensive? Now, I'm not all for cancel culture, all right? And that's a separate conversation that we can have. I'm not all for cancel culture. I do understand that people make mistakes. But we really should be checking these things with multiple levels of sign off before presenting it, as well as before getting it out there on the market. Now, apparently Miles, when he saw this design, came out and told one of the creative designers that he objected to it, and rightfully so, and he felt as though that it was, it was offensive, setting people back, and he kind of made a big case about it. On WWE on Twitter, and came with some receipts, with some screenshots, some email screenshots that he had. So the machine goes automatically into damage control, and they're, lack of a better words, there was some defense coming out saying that, hey, we didn't actually put this shirt out there, which again, I commend them for not actually doing that. But again, something's got to be said about coming up with those designs. So I don't want to hark on this too much, but again, if you're going to come out with a t-shirt for a talent, or just in general, if you're a t-shirt designer, and not an independent one, but a t-shirt designer that you're designing for other people, make sure that you get the sign off for them, and make sure it's not racially insensitive. I mean, we've seen a lot of that in the last 2 years, and it's kind of ridiculous. Now, on the flip side of that, Miles kind of went on a little bit of a tirade, and started accusing people of being Uncle Toms, and I didn't like that too much. I'm gonna be honest with you. There's enough hate going on in this world. We don't need to be bringing other people back. And I think it's pretty hypocritical when, you're coming out in defense of something for the culture, and then you turn around and taking the culture out. I didn't like it at all. So we got to be better than that, guys. Like, raise our concerns, yes. And there could have been some, considering that the shirt never made it to the market, one could question whether or not it should have even been brought up, because it seemed as though it was already addressed. Neither the gray one or the black shirt one made it to the market. But in any event, Miles, I was going to bat for you, my man. Here at IRWP, we was going bat for you, brother. But when you call another brother an Uncle Tom, man, try to bring him down, man, you get the dunce, bruh. You're going to get on that list for the year as a candidate for being the dunce of the year. And once I get a drop, I'm going to put that down. But yeah, that's no bueno, man. We don't do that, man. We don't do that. We got to be better. So I'm going to move on from that point. But just like I said, let's be better, guys. Let's be better. We had Crown Jewel happen last week, and boy, oh boy, what a cluster that ended up being. Oh, man. So, your boy, I don't watch Crown Jewel, and I won't watch anything produced in Saudi Arabia. You guys already know my thought process on that. If you watched it, good for you. It's not my cup of tea. Till change actually happens, then your boy will reconsider. But for the time being, nah, I'm not all for that. But I will say this. Kudos for putting on a women's match that takes guts, and I appreciate the change and attitude. Wasn't too big of a fan of the covering them up from head to toe, but I get it. It's a different country, it's a different culture. You got to respect that. Sometimes you got to take baby steps before you can walk. So, for everyone that was involved in that process, I say kudos, for that. I heard that Brock Lesnar ended up beating Cain Velasquez in the matter of like 2 minutes. I think there was even like a running joke going on, which wasn't really a joke. You can actually make a gif of that entire match, which was insane. And now Cain Velasquez is out with a knee injury, so we won't be seeing him. So then I, hark on the point again. What was the point in putting the belt on Brock Lesnar and taking away from Kofi Kingston and making Kofi Kingston have amnesia like the event never happened? Like, I don't get that at all. Like, it doesn't make any sense to me whatsoever why that even... It's just a waste of time. I think it's disrespect on Kofi's name, and something needs to be done about that. Something needs to be done about that. That's just utter disrespect, but I digress. It is what it is. We got a new Universal Champion with the Fiend, and hella excited that the Fiend is the champ. But again, it's a cluster, man. It's a cluster, and we're gonna get into it in full. So after the show was all said and done, the talent was going into to the airport, and all of a sudden, you start getting these tweets from the superstars, and they were cryptic tweets. And I hate to keep you. I should have reclassified myself and obsolete. Damn, I should have went ahead and, oh man, I should have renamed this episode as Cryptid. I'm just saying, I might do that. Anyways, yeah. So you had things like "Never Again," "Pray for Us, Brother," going on, and nobody knew what the heck was going on. Eventually we got word that there was more than half of the superstars still stuck in Saudi Arabia and had to make the show for SmackDown the next day, and they were in danger of not making the show. And I'm not talking about like a 30-minute delay. Like, they were on the plane. It was like, 30 minutes goes by, an hour goes by, 2 hours goes by. We're seeing tweets from wrestlers' family members saying, never, this is the last time you're ever going to do this. We saw, tweets coming out that there may have been a hostage situation, and that the WWE was, being held hostage. Like, we don't have the full story of what's going on. But what we do know is that 20 talent, or is it 20 people from the E went on one plane, and they were able to make it out. And then we had the rest of them stuck. Vince McMahon had already taken off before the end of the show, is my understanding of everything like there. But so apparently, when the bill is due, the bill is due. And allegedly Vinnie Mac had issues that he didn't get paid for his last event that he produced there, so he was holding back on producing the show live or making it broadcast live in Saudi Arabia, and the Prince and the Crown took objection to it, allegedly. So they decided to cock up this story that the plane, there's something wrong with the plane. Now, I was born on a day, but it definitely wasn't yesterday. All right. First and foremost, when you're grounded and the plane doesn't work like it's supposed to be, it instills anxiety on the people who are on that plane itself. Like, it makes it feel like I shouldn't be on that plane. And my thing is, like, if there was something seriously going on with that plane, everyone should have deboarded and got onto another plane and took off. That's my thing, right? But no, they didn't get to do that, and it was only Target. This was the only plane in the airport that could not take off. And you're sitting here and you're telling me that there was mechanical errors or weather reports. Like, no, man, come on. We know more than that, man. So it sounds like that there was some type of dispute between the government and Vince McMahon. One was trying to flex the muscle over the other. I look, I was legitimately worried about them. Contracts should never involve, like, contract disputes should never involve the well-being of an individual's health and life. And even though that they may not have been in imminent physical danger, like, anxiety and mental issues are just as bad as physical issues are. And this is something that could have been resolved way, way before this event actually took place. And it wasn't. And I blame management solely for that. Now, one can make the argument they knew what they were getting into, but we really shouldn't be thinking that way, to be honest with you. They're entertainers, they're under contract. Yes, that this is what they signed up for, but that doesn't necessarily mean that they have to be they don't have to be they shouldn't be involved in the disputes and the revenge and the disputes. Like, that's not what it's all about, man. It is what it is. I'm glad that they all got home safe. I really do. And I think that the WWE coming out with the press release saying that they're extending their relationship with them, like, nothing's changed. Nothing's changed. Like, they already inked the contract last year to extend this thing up to like 2030. So nothing has changed. All right. That was just facade. That was just fodder to kind of make sure that the stock holders weren't being impacted by it. But shame on WWE for putting the wrestlers and the talent and the staff in this position. You got to contract disputes. There's a right way to handling it and a wrong way for handling it. And as a boss, if you knew that this was an issue as a boss, you shouldn't have fled. You know what I mean? You should have stayed with the ship until everyone was out safe. That is a true leader. Putting your interests before your talent, your employees, is your no. Come on, man. That's straight up garbage, man. And this is one of the reasons why so many people are critical of the WWE. It's just things like this that really get to people, and it's not a good thing, man. I mean, if God forbid, if a family member wanted to join the E, from the outside looking in, I'd be telling them, man, there's other opportunities out there, man. They don't care about you. Don't chase the money. The money will come. Don't chase the money, especially for a company that doesn't really care about you. So that's what I'll say about that. I did want to go in like harder in terms of like some of the spin that was coming out from a certain phenomenal one, but I'm gonna digress on that. So, and last but not least, speaking of civility, I did want to try, or I just gave it away. I did want to talk about Chris Jericho, specifically, his podcast guest for this week. I didn't listen to it, my own personal decision. And honestly, I don't really listen to Chris Jericho's podcast. Maybe I should. I know Ben Goosen's a big fan of him, but I've got enough time in the day doing other things that I just couldn't get to it. But Chris Jericho got a lot of backlash for having Donald Trump Jr. on his podcast. And I'm sitting back and I'm thinking to myself, man, like are we seriously going to be like this? Like, seriously? I think and this is just my own personal view, guys. Like, there's way too much hate going on in the world, and I get it. Like, I do. I truly understand the level of hatred and the level of disdain that comes with the Trump name. Like, I get it. But if we don't test power, especially in the right way, if we don't listen to each other, like, we can't expect things to change at all. If we just have, and I get it, it might be an unpopular decision, but the shoe were on the other foot. I wouldn't want someone censoring me. And maybe it's a learning opportunity to me. Maybe Chris Jericho would be that guy. Or maybe you would be that guy to put it into different perspective for someone like that. And see where they're coming from as well. And I mean, that's the only way that you're gonna get change. If we're just sitting here being tribal in our little holes and we're not communicating with each other to understand each other's viewpoints, like nothing's ever gonna change. So I get where Chris Jericho was coming. It's a guest, and you gotta. This is the entertainment field. You got to be entertaining, but at the same time, you can be critical at the same time. But if you don't test that power, if you don't bring people on that have a contrarian point of view, and you don't test them, then how are we expected to how do we expect to get better in this society? You let me know. All right. So with that, I'm going to get off my soapbox outside the ring because that's all I have for there. But let's get inside the ring. So obviously the Saudi Arabia trip thing happened. They were stuck on basically in Saudi Arabia for like an additional 14 hours, I think. So they were definitely not, the roster of SmackDown was not going to make it to SmackDown. So like the roster was completely light. I mean, you had all the women wrestlers there. You had a couple, you had KO, you had Daniel Bryan still stateside. But I mean, that was pretty much it. So a lot of people, was thinking like, what's going to happen to SmackDown? Now, I don't think that what happened next was something that was planned, at least not in this capacity. Maybe it would be planned for something in the future, but I don't think that it was planned in this capacity. And this is one of those things where it's lightning in a bottle. You have to think quick on your feet. You've got a full roster that works on Wednesdays. Why not bring them out to fill the roster for those who were still there on Friday and create a show? And that's exactly what they did. NXT just comes in. They run roughshod from the announce table to the women's division. They challenge Daniel Bryan. The Miz gets into it with Ciampa. And it was just amazing. And it's brilliant from a marketing standpoint as well, because you have people who are going to want to watch SmackDown just for the sake of saying, man, this is going to be crap, because they're not going to have anybody. I want to see what this disaster, what this dumpster fire is actually going to be. Like, you actually have people that are like that, which I completely understand. But again, that's more eyes on the product. And if you have more eyes on the product, what better way to promote to promote more people into a brand that's just now getting established to the mainstream than putting NXT in an invasion angle? And I loved it. I absolutely loved it. I thought it was great. I thought it was brilliantly well done. I can't wait to see more of this. Now we have War Games. And then we're going to have Survivor Series. So it's going to be very, very interesting because, the reports are we're going to get the women from each three of those brands to fight each other. The women champions for each brand going to fight each other. We're going to get, it was supposed to be Brock Lesnar, The Fiend, and Adam Cole fighting each other as well. So it's going to be interesting, how that's going to play out, because now I think they might be going a different direction with The Fiend, but that just interesting. And then we have the tag teams, which looks like the tag team champions are all going to be in the mix from the different three brands. And this is something that Goose and I used to talk about like 2 years ago that they should have done. Like, there should have been more integration from the get-go for NXT and the main roster. Because they truly were their own brand. It's a different style of wrestling. It's a different, a different philosophy of wrestling. Why not incorporate that more often? And they're doing it. So it's better late than never that they're doing it. Out of the whole invasion thing, the one that I like the most right now is Shayna Baszler attacking Bayley. Like, I love that. Now, I don't like the fact that Bayley's looking weak. But I think that Bayley and Sasha will eventually make their way down to NXT and run roughshod over there as well. Because, I mean, after all, it's like Sasha said this week. Or technically, it was Bayley said that those are the two who really jump-started that division and, put him on the map. So why not go back down there and take take some L's from other people? So got Ben Goosen there in the chat. What's going on, Ben Goosen? The Fiend. So this week on SmackDown, the Fiend decides to attack Daniel Bryan, and now things are starting to come together in terms of his character development. So if we go back, we're starting to see a little bit of a pattern of everyone that he is attacking. Everyone on here is someone who is basically beating him in a pay-per-view match. And he's, either he's been bullied by them, or he's been beaten by them multiple times in either a pay-per-view match or on live TV. So the Fiend is basically going back in the mind and correcting all of these wrongs, and I absolutely love it, man. The first one that he went after, gosh, I'm drawing a blank on it, but I can't remember who it was right off the top of my head. But attacked him, took him out. Now the Legends is something completely different. I don't really follow where that story arc is, but I think that as time goes on, we'll start to see why exactly that's going on. But then you had Seth Rollins. Seth Rollins and the Shield, taking on the Wyatt family and embarrassing them. The Fiend's got, the wheels are turning in the Fiend's mind. He's like, yes, 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 yes. I'm going after you. I'm taking you out, and I'm gonna take your title as well. Love it. Now he's got Daniel Bryan, and Daniel Bryan is no stranger to the Wyatt family, and now he's going after them. So I'm expecting in the next 6 months, we get Matt Hardy, we get Roman Reigns. I would love for the Fiend to jump to AEW one week, like buy a ticket, go in the crowd, and just kind of mock or look at Moxley, because that would be the trifecta. But your boy can dream. We were gonna see who else? Dolph Ziggler. We're going to see a lot of them. We're going to see a lot of retribution angles. And this is deep. And I love it if they do this and they do it well, which I will give them hats off. They've been doing a great job with The Fiend, aside from what happened at the last pay-per-view, which was, pretty trash. But I digress. That's how it is. And then, that was pretty much it. AJ Styles did go down to NXT, which I thought that was pretty good. And run roughshod there. But I will say this, man. We need more integration of NXT. I am finding myself really, really, truly pulling away from the WWE product. This week, SmackDown wasn't that great. Raw was okay, but SmackDown really wasn't that great. They were in London. The only thing that I could really say hats off on is I love the fact that Sasha has a new theme song. I like that evolution, and I'm a very strong proponent is if an iconic character is either a face or a heel and they go the other direction, I think that everything should change. I think their looks should change. I think their music should change. I think their movesets should either be more aggressive or a little more lighthearted, depending on which way they go. And I feel like they're doing a great job with doing that. Whoever's starting, it feels like there's a change of guard going on in the back. I'm seeing it, I'm noticing it, and I like it. So great job there, guys. Keep up the good work. But I'm not gonna lie. Wednesday nights commands my attention, and more specifically AEW, and that's exactly where we're gonna go right now. So didn't have a show last week, but some of the things that I really enjoyed from last week's episode was. And I know you guys are going to call me crazy. Your boy, Sage the Mark, ain't crazy. I enjoy wrestling no matter how zany, crazy it is. I really enjoyed seeing the best friends come out to Rick and Morty and dressed up as Rick and Morty on my birthday. I enjoyed it. I loved it. I thought it was great. Trent really... and this is one thing I love about AEW is like every week, like we don't get the same exact people every week or the same exact roster every week, but every week they showcase somebody different and put them in a position, whether they win or lose, they put them in a position to be showcased, and I loved it. Last week we had, we had Chuck Taylor, Trent, and we had Orange Cassidy, and QT Marshall and some other cats there. I don't remember their names, but it was a great match, a great wrestling match from the entire ring. As crazy as the looked and the portals on the ring post, like, I don't care. I thought it was enjoyed. I saw that match like 5 or 6 times. I'm enjoying their theme song. I think the Best Friends theme song is probably the best AEW song that they have. The greatest AEW song. Maybe Judas maybe is a little bit higher than that, but it's right up there. They're doing everything great with that. The Moxley promo, both right when the program started and at the very end was amazing. I love that Moxley is not concerned about his win-loss records, and I love the fact that he has been participating in these matches that don't count towards his record because he just doesn't care about his record. I like the fact that Tony Khan isn't like a on-screen character, but more behind the scenes, but is acknowledged as part of the show from an authoritative perspective. Like, I like that. It's subtle. It's kind of slowly introducing you into who he is and what he's doing and how he's helping along. I like it. They're doing a great job. Like, the focus on the tag teams this week was, pretty amazing. I like the fact that we went from having not Private Party, but SCU versus the Lucha Brothers to fight it out at Full Gear, to giving a second chance to another tag team, which we had the Dark Order and Private Party. And anytime you got Private Party on the show, whether it's AEW Dark or whether it's on the main show, I just love it. Like, I love it. Private Party is great, man. Like I said, they remind me of Harlem Heat, just a smaller version of them, and but both of them can fully go, and I like it, man. Yeah, they're a little spotty, but I don't care. I don't. And like when I see them set up the gin and juice, I ain't gonna lie. Your boy Sage the Mark is excited. I'm sitting there going, yes, gin and juice, and hits the gin and juice. I'm good, man. We good. So like, keep up the good work, man. But Private Party ended up winning. I know that they're probably going to end up eating the pen at the pay-per-view. But I want them to win. Like, to me, they're the Billy Kidman of AEW. Like, that's the person that you just watched for years and years and years who almost get it, but don't get it. And then that one time that they get it, it's just going to be something completely special. So yeah, they're quickly becoming my favorite, right behind Darby Allin, which I will say that I was a little surprised that I don't think Darby Allin was on last week, but he was. I think he was maybe on AEW Dark. Yeah, he was on AEW Dark this week, which I enjoy. Anytime you have Darby Allin, that's great. And I like, man, I'm enjoying the undeniable, like the whole undeniable thing on AEW Dark as well. This week they had MJF on there. If you guys haven't seen that, it's great. It's basically a behind the scenes and a more in-depth character development for the wrestlers or for the talent. Sometimes they have referees on there, stage producers, and then this week they actually had MJF, and I enjoyed the story, regardless if it's true or not. I really do enjoy the stories that they put on. So this week we also saw an improvement in the women's division, which is your boy's been saying that for the last couple of weeks. We need better, not better. I shouldn't say that. That's not nice. We need more representation in the women's division. And this week we got it. We got Big Swole, Arrow Monroe, and for those who don't know, that's Cedric Alexander's wife. And then we had Mercedes Martinez, which I've been saying for weeks. We need to get Mercedes Martinez on here. We had Priestley, I think, was also tagging in this one. This match was kind of all over the place. I'm not gonna lie. You could tell. You could tell that they weren't worked, like they've never really worked extensively together. I think it was Ali and Shayna together versus Ariel Monroe and I might be mixing up for AEW Dark, but yeah, like I am. That was the AEW Dark match. But I digress. It was this week, so I'm not gonna take this against the ladies as they fight each other more often. You know, it'll get better. I just like the fact that we're actually getting like more ladies in the division, whether it's on a short-term basis or whether it's on a long-term basis. I just like the fact that we are actually getting to see them. Love it. We had Riho in a tag team match this week against her opponent Sakura, and I'm trying to remember who her partner was, but it's escaping me. This match was actually pretty good. I really enjoyed the match. I mean, I'm not surprised, but the match was actually pretty good. Sakura actually ended up pinning Riho, which was pretty interesting considering like it's the reverse of how WWE does it. When the champion gets pinned, you know, that person automatically gets a title shot, but in this case, she already had the title shot. So, just thought that was pretty interesting turn of events on there. We had Pac and Hangman Page duo. No, we had Pac and Trent have a match this week, and man, this match was amazing. I mean, this match flew by, and it was a pretty lengthy match, and it really flew by. And I'm telling you, man, Trent and Chuck Taylor and best friends, like I like them. Like I do. Like I'm enjoying them. They're very charismatic. It's like they're happy to be there. They enjoy being there, and I like it, man. I think they do good work. I do. And you know, am I a mark for saying that? Yeah, perhaps. But man, keep up the good work. But the finish, you know, was kind of weird. It seemed as though when Pac hit the black arrow, he was supposed to pin him 1-2 and then pick him up, but maybe he had forgot the spot. The ref was like 1-2, and he should have counted 3, granted, but I think the ref knew what the spot was. And if the ref forgot to tell Pac, you know, that's something completely different. And I know people were harping on that, but I'm going to say this, guys. Everyone makes mistakes in what they do in their work, and people forget things because there's just, when you're putting on performance or when you're doing your best work, sometimes you leave some details out, but shouldn't be overly critical about it. It happens. And to blame the referee is just crazy. Like everyone gives the refs, especially at AEW, so much grief, man. And they're living their best life, and they're just having fun, and they're part of the show. And I don't care, man. I like that the refs are so lax and they're kind of Nick Patrick-ish without actually getting involved. Like I like that aspect of them, and I think that they do a good job. Let's just cut them some slack, guys. Please, your boys, Sage the Marcus saying, cut them some slack. And then not gonna hark on it too much, but I'm gonna say still another week with no Sonny Kiss on the main roster. Why? All right, why? All right, so the last but not least, probably the best part of AEW this week, and I put them together because I can't tell you which one I like more than the other because they were just both great. Cody Rhodes cut a promo in the ring, and his promo was great. He basically said that, I'm going to tell you this, guys. If I don't beat Chris Jericho for that title, I'm done. I'm not going to challenge for the world title ever again. Now, why would he do this, right? Take a sip of tea here. Let me spill the beans for you guys. Cody has never been a world heavyweight champion, and this is one of the things that his character, you know, desires the most. Like, this is what makes him feel desirable, is for him to be able to win the title. And I like that. Like that, it's not Cody booking himself to win. It's Cody's character putting everything on the line so that he could be the champion. And I like that. Like I think that that's great. I think that that's amazing, and I like the promo. The promo felt like it came from the heart. He was, very passionate about the way that he felt about wrestling and about people getting opportunities and whatnot. And and I wish him all the best, man. I mean, I'm pulling for him. But I will say this: as great as his promo was, Chris Jericho did something I just never, like, this dude just completely, this is why he is the GOAT. And no pun intended, I'm going to tell you why. Like, he truly is, like, he's great. He's greatness, man. And how, like, the way that everyone involved in this thing, it just, oh, man, I am marking out right now, guys. All right, so Chris Jericho puts on, like, this vignette, this promo package, and it had just like it started out with him at a table just kind of contemplating life, and Sammy Guevara had some bubbly and was saying, hey, which one do you want, Chris? And Sammy made a decision, a recommendation, and Chris gets up and kisses him on the forehead and just walks away and says, that's fine. And I'm like, yo, this dude, what is this dude doing? I didn't understand what was going on at first. But then he had these interviews. He had Sammy Guevara saying, hey, Chris Jericho is, he's great. He's like a father figure to me. And, Cody better watch out because with Chris Jericho's focus, he's in the zone. So from there, you see him walking and doing exercises, and then you see some other cameo interviews from the inner circle. We had Santana telling, saying that Chris Jericho, I don't know what he's saying, a dead ass. Like, who's gonna beat Chris Jericho? Who's the greatest of all time and the greatest heavyweight champion of all time? Dead ass Chris Jericho. He gonna get you, like, I enjoyed that. I'm just enjoying it. And then Ortiz comes out and says, man, Chris Jericho's a man, and you're just a boy. You don't even have chest hairs. I'm like, yo, these guys is going in, clowning. And then all of a sudden, just like out of nowhere, we get Soul Train Jones. Soul Train Jones. Who is Soul Train Jones? Soul Train Jones is Virgil. WWE Virgil. Man, Virgil coming out there and saying, I don't know about farms. I don't know a lot about farms. But I know that Chris Jericho is the GOAT. And his potential is just like the Olive Garden breadsticks. Unlimited. I about lost my shit. I ain't gonna lie. I lost my shit when I heard that. I thought that was like the funniest thing I ever heard in my entire life, man. And then they had Chris Jericho's aunt's best friend from church coming out saying that he's gonna kick Cody's ass. And yo, I love it, man. If you guys haven't seen that, y'all need to go out. You need to go on YouTube. You need to search for that. You got to see that. You got to be blessed. Be blessed. Watch that. It was great. AEW pulls out another banger for me, man. I'm enjoying everything that they do. Every week for me, they're getting better. I like the fact that they are transitioning different people every week to be spotlighted. I love it. I think we got more attention to the women's division, more eyes on the tag team division, storylines away from the belt, like Pac and Kenny Omega and Mox having like a lights out match at the pay-per-view. Like, I love it. Like, I absolutely love it. Just keep up the good work, guys. Keep up the good work. All right, so let's do, without further ado, I got something special for you guys. You might only be able to hear this on YouTube and see this on YouTube. I put a little how do I say it, segment together for you guys. It's not complete. All right, so it's kind of like a beta test run for you guys for our predictions. So without being said, let's get into the predictions for AEW 2019 Full Gear. right. All right, all right, all right, all right, all right. It's time to go through the predictions. Woo! It's time to go through the predictions. All right. That's a little something I put together for you guys. I thought that would be pretty cool to actually execute. Damn, that's how we do it, baby. Long live the king, baby. All right. So the buy-in. I think this is AEW's version of the pre-show. We got Britt Baker versus Brie Peasley coming out here. So I want to first come out and say that Brie Baker also had one of the greatest promo packages of AEW history right now. I absolutely loved it. Was it the Fight for the Fallen pay-per-view? Brie Baker took a concussion to the back of the head from Brie Peasley. That's kind of where this feud kind of started here. And I love the fact that she came out and said, yo, kayfabe aside, yo, when a wrestler gets hurt, it's customary for the person who did the injury to come out and say they're sorry. And Brie Peasley is a piece of boop because she didn't even take the time to say that she was sorry or check on my well-being. I could only look out of one eye. I loved it. I absolutely loved it. I love the intensity. I love the fact that they were showcasing, the moves on both sides, promo packages on both sides in her package. I loved it. I also love the fact that Britt Baker has the best move, the best finisher in wrestling. At least it's in the top 3 in my opinion. If not, it's the best one. I love it. And I said this on social media this week. I want Britt Baker to be heel. I think her heel run is going to be like flipping amazing. When she puts them in the chicken wing or I think it's the chicken wing. Well, whatever. When she's setting her up for the move, she has the arms all the way in the back. She pulls out her hand like she's putting on gloves. And then she puts on the lockjaw, and I love it, like the way her facial expression is when she hits it, like when she's about to do it. Oh my goodness! Like for me, that's a heel right there. That's a heel, like a genuine heel kind of move, and I love it. She puts that mandible claw on and just like pulls. I love it, man. Brie Peasley, very physical. I don't know. I don't know if we are. How do I say? I don't know where we go from here after Brie Peasley. I want Britt Baker to win this one so much. Like I feel like I don't know. I want her to win so much, but I think that for her story is going to be the transition from good to the transition of evil. So I'm going to actually take Brie Peasley to win this one. I know that's going to be a shocker. But I think that that's where you tell the story for Britt Baker. And shout out to we actually had 2 other women that debuted this week as well. And I completely forgot about it. And, but yeah, man, their women's division is doing great. Next up, we have Shawn Spears versus Joey Janela. Now, this feud actually started on AEW Dark. And actually, it was probably even like a little bit further than that, where Joey Janela kind of disrespected Tully Blanchard, and Shawn Spears, ended up taking exception to that after Joey Janela's match, which was amazing. It was a tag team match on AEW Dark with Jimmy Havoc. And very physical match. They actually eked out the victory, which was pretty cool. But it was great. Like I like this. Like for weeks I've been wondering where does Shawn Spears go from here? And Shawn Spears is just a dominant beast, man. And I forgot to even mention he had a match against Nakazawa on AEW Dark, and as zany as it was really fun to watch Ty Dillinger, Shawn Spears kind of be both silly and serious at the same time, which I love. It's one of the reasons why I love wrestling so much. I'm going to take Shawn Spears to win this one here. Obviously, they are gearing him up towards mid card. Once they come out with the belt for mid card, I think that Shawn Spears is going to be right there. He'll be teetering between mid card and heavyweight. And Joey Janela, like there's, so our boys at Marked Out Wrestling kind of made a good point this week, and like they don't know what to do with Joey Janela right now. Like he's just kind of like flinging it. And until they tweak his character a little bit more, like he's missing something. And as soon as they fix it, it's all to the races. Like his wrestling and his acumen is great. Aside from the backyard hardcore wrestling kind of stuff, like he's really good. Like he's really good in the ring. It's just they gotta tweak something. They gotta tweak something. So, anyways, Shawn Spears for the win on this one. Let's go to the next card. Hangman Page versus Pac. This is going to be a really good match. I definitely am going to enjoy it. Not too much interested in the match, but not going to be surprised that Pac's going to win this one here. I think, like Britt Baker, Hangman Page's character development or arc is going to be when he turns heel. I think that's what his character needs right now. It feels like he's trying to play that neutral character, but it's, to me, something is just kind of missing from him right now. And like he's got the crowd's attention. I enjoy it. I like his movesets, but it's just he's not, his feuds are just kind of falling flat in my opinion. And I'm hoping it gets fixed because Hangman Page is really, really good, man. But got Pac for the win on this one, guys. Pac wins. All right, the tag team champions, AEW World Tag Team Champions. We got the Lucha Brothers. We got Scorpio Sky and Frankie Kazarian and SCU. We got the Private Party. And oh my goodness, this match is probably the one that I am excited about the most. All 6 of these men can go. They have really, really, really put AEW on the map with their wrestling in the last 4 weeks. I want Private Party to win so much, but I think that they're going to be the ones who ends up eating the pen on this one here. I think it's too soon to switch titles. Wouldn't be surprised, though, if the Lucha Brothers take this one here. But I am going to go with SCU for retaining the titles for their first title defense. So SCU for the win, guys. SCU. Next on the card, we got Riho and Emi Sakura for the AEW Women's World Championship. Oh my goodness. I am really excited about this one here. We don't have enough face wrestlers right now for Sakura to make the to really run with this title, and I feel like it's way too soon for Riho to be dropping this title at all. So I'm gonna go with Riho from winning. I'm not gonna be surprised if Sakura gets this one, but I feel like Riho, like there's still so much more she can do. I think that Riho's her stopping block was going to be Awesome Kong. Like I think that once they position her against Awesome Kong, I think that that's where Riho's championship reign ends. Future booking, I get it. I kind of feel like that's how it's gonna roll. Next up, Proud and Powerful, Ortiz and Santana versus the Young Bucks, Nick and Matt Jackson. Oh my gosh, this match is going to be off the chain. The promo packages have been great. I love the fact that during the Best Friends match, after the Best Friends won 2 weeks ago, that Proud and Powerful dressed up as Rick and Morty and attacked the Young Bucks. Love that synergy. Thought that was pretty amazing. Very hard to see who wins this one. I want Proud and Powerful to win. I do. And you know your boy likes heel wrestlers, but this is going to be their second match, I believe, at AEW, like second official match on AEW. I don't think that they take the L on this one here. The Young Bucks can afford to put people over, they just can. So I'm going to go Proud and Powerful for the win, guys, on this one. All right, here we go. Cody Rhodes versus Chris Le Champion Jericho, greatest of all time, GOAT, youngest wrestler, or youngest AEW wrestler of all time. AEW World Championship on the line. All right, so the stipulation for this match again, guys, just to repeat, Cody loses this match, he will no longer be eligible to fight for the AEW World Championship ever again. Now, when you get that stipulation, when you hear that stipulation, you automatically go to, oh, Cody's going to win this title. I don't think he's going to win this title, but I don't think this is going to be a loss that's going to actually count against him either. Like the easy booking would be for the Inner Circle to come in and attack Cody, and then just kind of have this thing like pulled out for like another week or another month or so. But I would like for MJF to get involved in this match and to take out Cody Rhodes. Reason being, like, he's a heel wrestler, but he is a heel only when he's not with Cody. And I think that a story arc between MJF and Cody, like MJF being too ambitious for his own good, will go a long way. Chris Jericho can go and fight another day. Chris Jericho needs to be the champion until the new year. Just period. Like he needs to be the champion for the new year. Like he's great. He's great. That's all I can say about that. Once he starts going on his little tours and stuff like that, you'll see less of Chris Jericho, and the title will probably frequently change hands here and there until Chris Jericho gets it back. That's what your boy Sage the Mark says. I know y'all hate it, but long live the king. Let's go. And then finally, we get Jon Moxley, the Mox, the master of the Devil Driver, the Lucille, the Lunatic Fringe, Moxley, the Mox versus Kenny Mega Man Omega. Yes, I am excited for this match as well. It's a lights out match, guys, which means it will be the final match of the night. Anything goes, no holds bars, cannot be stopped for anything other than a pinfall or submission, and does not count against anyone's win or loss record. I'm excited for this. This is going to be very, very good. Very, very well put together. I think Jon Moxley is going to end up winning this one here. I know that Kenny Omega has somewhat of a losing record. Yeah, Moxley's going to win. He's got to. Like, it makes more sense. I could see Moxley actually taking the belt off of Jericho at some point. Yeah, I think that might end up happening. But yeah, I mean, this is going to be a good match, guys. We got the Cleaner versus Lucille with the Barb Bat. It's going to be good. It's going to be nothing short of amazing. And I think this is going to be a good card, man. It comes out today on Saturday. And, hopefully, I'm interested to see what the pay-per-view buys looks like. I am actually going to buy this one. Believe it or not, I am actually going to buy this one. But I will say this. At some point, AEW is going to need to switch to the subscription-based model. And I will say this. I will probably, most likely, drop WWE subscription for an AEW subscription if they ever go that way. I think at this point in this juncture, I've seen enough to know that AEW is my show. I enjoy it so much more than I enjoy WWE's, for the exception of a couple of feuds and things like that. But they got me, they got me, and I like it, guys. I do. I enjoy it, and I'm curious to know if you guys enjoy it. Like, how I want to hear from you guys. Like, how do you think AEW's done this last 4 weeks, and their pay-per-views? Are you going to be buying them? Let me know how you guys feel about that, because I definitely would be interested to see how it translates out there to the audience. But with that being said, guys, that's the show this week. I really, really appreciate you guys continuing to tune in, listen to your boys at IRWP, It's Real Wrestling Podcast. Be sure to hit us up on Twitter at Real WrestleCast on Twitter. It's Real Wrestling Podcast, all spelled out on Instagram. You can hit us up, IRWP.com, or on Patreon. Support your boys at patreon.com/IRWP. We're there. Don't forget, we got a contest going on. Right now, we're at 230 subscriptions on YouTube. Help us get to 500, and you may win an opportunity to get a $50 gift card to Amazon.com. I'm trying to give it away, guys. Can't give it away without your help. So take everything I said and just be happy, be merry, be great, be respectful. As Goose would say, go see a wrestling fan, go talk to a wrestling fan. Introduce yourself. You might have more in common than you think. Division is never the way, guys. Y'all know the drill. Keep it real.